poses to help you progress in your splits practice.
I'll suggest having a yoga strap and a block close by if you need assistance in some of the poses today. So the first one is a forward fold or seated forward fold or forward bend. Use your strap if you're starting off fairly cold, maybe you haven't done a lot of moving around yet today when you're doing this video, or maybe you already know that you have some limitation with flexibility in the hamstrings. So take your legs forward, sit up nice and tall, open the chest, feel a sense of broadening through the collarbone. Take your strap, place it around your feet, and if you've lost the length from that bending forward, then again, just lift up and open up. Take an inhale here. This might be it if you already feel a deep enough stretch. You don't want to stretch yourself, so just make sure that you feel enough challenge that you know that some work is being done, but you're not overdoing it. If you want a little bit more, on an exhale, just walk yourself a little bit more forward. But what you want to avoid is curling the back. So you want to stay nice and open, continue to keep the length, maybe even turning on the front of the thighs a little bit. So that just means maybe think about the sensation of drawing the quads or the front of the thighs away from the kneecap. Again, this might be enough. You can see I'm just kind of flexing the feet. And hold that there for a few breaths. You may want to go a little bit more forward or a little further. And if you do, again, just utilize your breath as that gateway to take you forward, especially on that out breath. But avoid kind of coming into that curl very early. If you can comfortably get in with the belly to the thighs, and then you start to kind of drop and relax into it, then that's okay. But try to maintain that openness as you lean forward, okay? Our second pose is a low lunge. You can come into it from this tabletop position. Step 1 foot forward. You may want to take your block. If you have two, you can have one on either side for some support. Any height that feels comfortable for you. Or maybe the fingertips or the hands are resting gently on the floor or on your mat. So my stance, I'm just taking my foot a little bit more forward so that, as you'll see when we come into it, but as I push my hips more forward, I want to maintain some alignment of that knee kind of resting over the ankle or even just a little bit behind. So not that it's necessarily a bad thing for the knee to come way forward, but that's just not necessary for our purposes today. So you can just keep that, that distance here. Now, let go of the curl of the back and the back toes. Take an inhale, shift your weight forward, and again, this might be enough. So you can see here what we're doing is opening that stretch or length in the front thigh and the back leg or the hip flexors, and you know why that's going to be useful for splits, right? So this might be enough. Again, like I said, maybe you have blocks on either side. If you are ready to progress, then you can inhale and lift up. Feel a sense of lengthening the tailbone down and also pressing down through that front foot. Hold for a few breaths. Exhale to take the hands down. Gently shift your weight back and sweep the front foot back. Remember to repeat that on the other side. Our final pose for today is Pigeon. Again, you can come in from this tabletop position. I'm going to take my hands a little bit more forward though. My hands are set about a shoulder width, maybe slightly more apart. I'm going to sweep my left leg forward so you can see what it looks like if you need to use a block. So shift your knee forward. So if it's my left knee coming forward, I'm going to shift it forward, but I'm also going to take a little detour and shift it towards the behind my left wrist. Uncurl the back toes and then just kind of sneak yourself back down. So I want my foot, my left foot, to be just in front of my pubic bone. So in terms of alignment, you want to make sure that you're opening or externally rotating through the front thigh and internally rotating through to the back thigh. Think about your front hip bones looking forward and on an even plane. So if it feels tight here and it's difficult, you're maybe a little bit high and the butt cheek is a little further away from the mat than you'd like it, take your block, place it or slide it underneath you and use it for support so you can maintain that alignment. You'll see that you'll know that if the alignment is off, you're kind of resting down, you want the bum to touch, but then that right thigh is opening out and externally rotating as well. We want that internal rotation and that external rotation in the front thigh simultaneously. Broaden through the chest, inhale. The top of the back foot is down. When you're ready to progress, if you've practiced a little bit more consistently or you've worked on this pose for some time and it feels like you're ready to move forward, then you can come down to the forearms. Maybe this is your starting point. Again, always listening to your body and doing what's right is always the best choice. When you're ready for a progression again here, you can walk yourself forward, drop the forehead down, or even use your block. Maybe you want to put your forehead on your block, again at an appropriate height that feels comfortable for you. Take a few breaths. When you're ready, slowly come back. Curl the back toes under to support yourself. Use a little push of the hands, and then you can sweep that leg back. You may need to come into a child's pose or do whatever feels good to just kind of loosen up that hip. So these are not all the poses that will help for splits. These are just a few to get into to start off with, but they are definitely going to help you and create that openings that you need to progress on your journey to splits. Namaste.